Hello, this is part 1 of the Alien Hunter Jungle Stalker mask tutorial. Hey guys, so quick disclaimer, I'm using a different phone than I'm used to record this. It's a Google phone, I'm usually an Apple guy, and so there was some backup issues and I accidentally deleted some clips while filming this tutorial. I apologize for this. The issue's been resolved, which is good, so future episodes shouldn't suffer from this. But yeah, that's why all of a sudden there's a lack of good quality tutorial for this one. For the sake of not wasting material, it's already an expensive hobby. I tried to do my best with just the template paper pieces. So yeah, anyway, enjoy. To begin, you're going to need to download and print the pattern. You're going to need craft foam. This pattern calls for 1mm, 5mm, and 8mm, though you could use 5mm for the pieces that need the 8mm. That's up to you. You're also going to need a craft knife or X-Acto knife, some scissors, glue, Sharpies, and lastly some Scotch tape or painter's tape. Now we're going to start cutting out the paper patterns. Make sure you also cut out the little triangle marks you'll find on a few of the pieces as well. Next, you'll need to combine the two H and two G pieces together respectively using some tape. Once this is done, you can go ahead and draw out all of the paper patterns onto the foam. Make sure you mark out the cutting guides, those dots and lines, the triangle marks that we cut out, the arrows on each piece, and the name of each piece on the foam as well. The arrows will help identify the front of each piece. Once everything is drawn out onto the foam, we can start cutting everything out. Edges with line markers indicate that you need to cut away from the shape at about 45 degrees. This creates an extended face. Edges with dotted guides indicate that you need to cut into the shape at about 45 degrees. This creates an inverted face. Another marking you're going to see is this transitional mark, where you have an outward or inward cut right next to a straight line cut. This is signaling when one fluid motion go from an outward cut to a straight cut in one motion. The result is this outward cut to the straight in one smooth face. The last bit of cutting is actually going to be done on the back of piece A. Using a ruler, draw a line from each end of the neck of the piece here where it narrows. Now, on one side of the line that we drew, use your knife and cut at a 45-degree angle towards the line. Do the same thing on the other side of the line like so. If you've seen my hidden seams video, this is what we're doing to piece A. If you want to check out that video, you can use the link above. Alright, now we're going to remove the foam that we just cut out and apply glue to this area. Once the glue is set, bend piece A inwards towards the gap that we just cut. This results in a smooth bend on the outer face of piece A, as you can see here. Okay, now we're going to move on to piece B1. Apply glue into all of 4 of these gaps here. Once the glue is set, press these gaps together like so. Piece B should start to have a slight curve in some areas, and that's what we want. Next, find piece B2 and flip over piece B1. Following this seams curve, place B2 with the extended cuts facing down into the large swoop of B1 like so. Mark out where B2 sits on the back of B1. Okay, then we're going to apply glue on and around this marked area on the back of B1, as well as on the top of B2, including the extended cut faces, like I'm doing here. Once the glue is ready, press B2 with the extended cut faces down towards B1 onto the marked spot on the back of B1, like so. Then begin wrapping B1 around and onto the extended cut faces of B2 like I'm doing here. As you can see, this creates a really nice and smooth curve to the outer face of piece B. We're going to follow the same steps that we just did for pieces B1 and B2, but for C1 and C2. Glue together the gap in C1. Flip piece C1 over and mark out where C2 fits centered on the piece, like so. Apply glue to the back of C1 as well as on to C2. Once the glue is ready, you can press C2 onto C1 and wrap C1 around C2. Alright, next we're going to apply glue to this edge of C1 here, as well as this extended cut face of piece B1. Once the glue is set, press the two pieces together, making sure that the top corner of piece C1 lines up with the top of the extended cut face of piece B1. Next, and I accidentally made the left side version of this, so I'm actually just going to make the right hand side, but the same instructions. Find D1 and D2. Apply glue to the top edge of D1 here, and the bottom edge of D2 here. Once the glue is set, press the two D pieces together, starting at the front where the arrows are pointing. This piece will have a pretty harsh curve to it, but that's what we want, so don't fight it. Okay, I suggest watching the instructions for this next bit first instead of working as you watch, if that makes sense. Apply glue on all of the exterior edges of the new D piece, as well as on the extended edge and up the bulb of piece 1 here. Also apply glue on the bottom edge and around the curve of piece C1 here. Once the glue is set, begin combining piece B, C, and D by pressing this corner edge of piece D into the edge where pieces B1 and C1 meet here. Then, begin pressing the edges of piece B, C, and D together, starting with either B or C, and then going back to complete the other side. Piece B and C should meet at the tail end of piece D, like so. This is the jaw, cheek, and cheekbone area of the mask, if you couldn't tell. Now go ahead and build the right-hand version of this. Once you have the two sides of the mask, we're going to combine each piece to piece A. Apply glue on the side edges of piece A all the way down and along the bottom curve here. Also apply glue along the entire inward cut edge of piece B1 here. Once the glue on each is ready, start here at the neck of piece A and press the two pieces together. Piece B will not go up the entire way on piece A, so don't worry about that. Now we're going to do the same thing for the other side of the mask. Alright, and this is what you should have at the end of part 1 of this tutorial. A link for part 2 should be popping up at the end of this video. Thanks again.
Please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more cosplay content.